Hey everybody, welcome back to ogresspeedshop. So we're back on the truck, and what are we doing? I don't even know yet. So there's a lot to do. We got wiring, we got door locks, we got ignition lock, we got tank removal, so we got all kinds of things. So this video could go anywhere. I'm not sure yet. No, I just got back from town, sorry about the sunglasses, but I just got back from getting the lock cylinder and the door locks for it. So let's get into the video and see what we can accomplish on this thing. Maybe we can get it driving. Where we left off was we got the truck running, and we did have some noise coming from this valve cover. And I opened it up and I found that like 3 rockers were loose. I went through and readjusted them. Even though it looks kind of like the studs are pulling out of the head, I ordered a tool in order to change it out and put threaded studs in. But it's running better now. I adjusted it and it's running better, running fine now. Took everything out because it was all temporary just to get it running. The fuel line, I actually put the tank in, and that's all hooked up now and reinstalled, so we can run off of that now, which is cool. And the next thing we want to do is get these tanks out because they're pretty rusty and nasty. I want to see just how bad they are. But if they're too bad, then there's no reason for them to be in the truck. And I literally drained probably 20 gallons out of the driver's side tank yesterday, and it was not a good smell. The shop still smells that bad. So I think it was original, like, who knows how old gas that was in there. But it's definitely a different smell than what's in this one, which hopefully is still good. There's still some in there. And but we'll figure that out later when we get this thing up and running. But we got to get a cooling system on it. Training cooler hooked back up, so which means we got to have the radiator in there. So I'll probably test that to make sure it doesn't leak, because it looks a little crusty, like it's had a leak at one point. But I don't know. It just might be because it's an old copper style radiator. But if we need to replace it, we'll replace that. And so there's a whole there's a laundry list of stuff to do to it, and we're gonna get into it and try knocking things off a list. I should probably get like a board or something and make a list, but I don't know. I like to wing it, shoot from the hip a little bit and just kind of do the thing. Definitely gotta change spark plug wires. I can't stand those. I'll probably convert to an HDI distributor as well, because they're pretty reliable and you can't really complain about them too much. And they look normal in these trucks anyway, so. But definitely gonna get rid of the points eventually. Fuel pump works. I think that's about it. So let's get into doing something. And we can pull the wiring out. Like I said, there's all kinds of stuff we can do. So laundry list of stuff to do. So let's get into doing something. I think we'll start with the door locks because that'll be the easiest thing. So I just ended up going to O'Reilly's. I went online to see if I could find these lock cylinders. And I couldn't find a good deal on them online, so I checked out O'Reilly's, and they had it in stock, basically. So those are the door locks. I want to make sure the ignition fits in there properly. Let me compare it to the original, which is around here someplace. There it is. Yeah, I forgot to grab the keys from the guy when I bought the truck, but yeah, it's the exact same one, so we're good to go on that. Now we got all new keys for the ignition and for the doors. So now we can get them installed. Let's do the doors first, and I'll move you around and we'll get her going. As you can see, this one's just completely missing, but it's not like wallered out or anything, so it's not broken, so it should just go in real easy, real nice and simple. Just gotta get the door panel off the inside. Look at that, it's got a speaker. I didn't even realize it had that. So these things are actually real simple. You just have a clip that holds them in. So you got a grommet for the outside to seal it, and then a clip that holds it in on the inside of the door. So we just got to get that thing in there, and there's going to be, oh, dang, I bet you that's missing. All right, maybe is it in here? No. It's okay, we'll have to figure that out, because there's going to be a little piece that goes on here for the lock that probably ain't going to be on this door. That door over there still has a lock in it, so I'll show you that when we get to it. But let's get this door panel off. There's only one screw by the looks of it that's holding it on there, plus the handles. So let's get those off. Trying to make it so everybody can see what we're doing here. So it should be 3 screws up inside here. Probably use some new handles. Oh, there's only 2. That's good. That just looked like a hole from where I was looking. Just like that. Now the handles are a little different. You need a special tool to get the little clips out. Just find the right slot in there. It should. Oh, I think I just heard it pop. There you go. See the way it works is get that chunk of plastic out of there. See a little clip in there. I know I demonstrated this tool before. You just slide it up in there, get it into the slot, and it'll pop that little pin out, and you can just pull it off the regulator. Now you do the same thing to this, but it has a plastic thing around it. Can we get? Oh yeah, that one was a lot easier to find. Oh, don't break. Ah, it broke. All this old brittle plastic just falls apart when it hits the ground. All right, so we got those both off. So we got both handles. That's kind of garbage now. We got 1 screw here, and it should just flip out. We'll have to see about repairing the rest of this so we can. That is not a screwdriver. Doing it all by hand today. Uh-oh. There we go. Of course, these are specialized screws. Look how thick that is compared to the head. But now we can get the panel off at least. It just slides up in there, so you just gotta kind of jimmy it out a little bit. And there's your door panel. Don't make them like that anymore. It's all metal. Any chance that the clip might have gone down in. So there should be a lever that attaches to that and clips on, but we didn't have that. So somewhere to find later on. Let me grab a flashlight. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be down inside the door. There's a bunch of crap down in there, but I don't see. Need to vacuum that out. Oh wait, oh my God, I think I see it. I'm gonna take the speaker off here. Maybe. Use the proper pry tools. How about that? Yeah, there it goes. Oh, that's some old school stuff right there. Too bad it's all rusted out. And flathead screws holding it down. That's how you know it's been around for a while. Oh yeah, all kinds of 50-year-old dirt in there. Now, is that actually a clip I saw? No, it's just trash. We gotta lubricate the door locks. Well, let's get a vacuum and see if we can get that thing cleaned out of there. No, we got most of it. There's still some stuff like there in this back corner here that I just can't get the vacuum to. There's a plate in there, but just got some of it loosened up. You're probably just seeing the back of my head right now, which is awesome for you guys. All right, so we did find the original clip that holds the lock in. So I think what we need to do is lubricate the tracks, but we'll do that later. So like I said, there's endless amount of stuff to do on this. And don't forget to do floor pans and inner rockers on this, maybe some outer rockers. I think the other side's pretty bad. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Got the whole squirrel thing going on right now. But we're gonna check the vacuum and see if maybe the other clip that we need to attach to the lock is in there somewhere. think it should look like a little, like a U-shaped thing. I can't remember what these ones look like, but oh hey, there's my 9/16 I was missing. I think I commented about that. We were missing on 9/16, and I thought maybe I left it in the motor, but we didn't. It's right there. All right. Anyways, didn't find it. Found a bunch of broken bolts and studs in there. Along with these ones. I don't know if that has to do with the window tracks or something. Have to check all that, make sure they all work. But yeah, definitely some broken bolts and whatnot, and a coin to clean that up and see what it is. Looks like a nickel of some sort. So we'll check that, see what we got. But no clip. However, that ain't gonna stop us from getting this lock installed. Like I said, it's real simple. Okay, so one of these gaskets goes around the outside, just like so. And if you look right here, you can see how these are protrude out a little bit further, especially that one. Works perfectly. Just doesn't have anything to lock to is all. All right, so that door's done, and I'll show you on that one what I'm talking about as far as the mechanism that actually makes the lock spin. So I realized when I was editing that I actually dropped way too high on, or I was too high on that, and you can see a lot of this install. But this is a lever I'm talking about that we're missing on the driver's side. So that goes in there. If you look up in here, let's see if I can get this to visualize here. See these little, right here. So I'm gonna take a look at that thing right here. So what that does is that moves up and down with the lock. Like that. And when you spin this, and the key's in there, and you turn it one way or the other, it unlocks or locks it up inside there. So that's how that mechanism works. That's all there is to these locks. It's pretty simple. But either I gotta make something like this for the other side, or either way I need a clip to hold it on there. But yeah, so that's what we're missing on this side. But we can take this one off and put it on, get this one done and be done with this one. So if I can focus this in. The way you get this lever off is you see that little pin right there? You gotta lift that, and this will slide out just like any other slide clip. And then you just transfer it over to the new one. Pretty easy. All right, so we got her transferred over to the new one. So let's go install it. So what I didn't show you the last, or what got hidden, or I didn't have the camera down low enough. You see how it's got marks in it, grooves in it? This can only go in one way. You see how it fits right in like that? But if you try to go the opposite, it won't fit. So it's sized to fit one way, and that's it. There you have it. So you just gotta clip it from the back side, and we're done with this side. All right, so now let's see how it actually works up in there. See the key, see the lever? Turn it one way, it flips it that way, turn it the other way, flips it that way. That's how you lock and unlock your doors. And like I said, on the driver's side, this needs to be lubricated, so definitely gonna lubricate all the hinges and mechanisms to make them work a little better. But yeah, that's how it works. All right, so when installing the ignition switch, you got three pieces. You got this piece here, which is just a spacer basically, and it goes behind. This is a piece that goes in the front that actually holds it in place, and you can see it's got grooves in here. So that screws onto the end of this. I'm sorry, this slides over. Let me get it to slide over first. It is keyed, so you gotta find the flat spot, and it goes right over like that. And that's gonna go behind to where there's these tabs on the very back side of it that lock into these little tabs right here, these little slots. Then you just screw it in. You gotta find the way it goes first. Whichever way it fits the best, because it only fits one way, so the key is aligned properly, and that would be it right there. And you take this piece and you screw it onto the other piece. There's a specific tool for this, but you don't really need it. Just gotta find that sweet spot where it allows you to screw it in there. All right, so that's locked in. Gonna tap it in a little bit with a screwdriver, which I already have in here. That feels pretty good. Let's give it one last love tap. Good with this one right here. All right, so that's good. So the reason why you got to put that in before you put the ignition in there, because this has a little chrome cover on it, and this won't unscrew, or it shouldn't unscrew, because if it was that easy, you could just steal the truck very easily. So you just pop it in there, and it's keyed. There's a little pin for when you want to remove it, but you have to turn the key back in order to do that. So you just stick the key in there, then you line it up, turn it to on, and now it's locked in there. You can't pull it out. To pull it out, you have to turn it backwards, push that little pin in, and release it further back, and then it'll allow you to pull it out. But that's all there is to it. Installing the key. Now we have an ignition start. Good to go. So that is done. Pretty simple. So one thing, sometimes you might want to install that after you have the wiring in, but you see how much room we have up underneath there and everything. So there's plenty of room to get back there to plug it in when we get to that point, which is probably going to be the next thing we do, or maybe we're going to drop the tanks next. I don't know yet. But we got the ignition switch in and both door locks in. So that's a start. All right, so the next thing we're going to try to do is get these dual tanks out of here. Because if we can, and they're salvageable, I want to put them back in because I want to have the dual tanks. So they're held in with these weird bolts that come up through the bed, and I'll show you the bottom side of it. So I got them soaking from the top, so they hopefully can soak down through. But let me get out. Let's get underneath this so I can show you how they are attached under there. So if you look, they're held in with these weird ass bolt things, but a 3/8 ratchet or whatever fits in it. So let's see if we can use that to gun it off, and hopefully that'll drop the tank. And there's plenty of room back here. As you can see how it goes. Well, it's kind of hard to see, but it angles up with the bed, but there's enough room behind it here that it can go that way. Because I've already checked that to be sure. But so that's what we want to do, try to get those tanks out of there. If for no other reason, to get them out because they're useless, or to clean them up so we can reuse them. So that's what we're looking at, to get those tanks off there, hopefully. Thinking worst case scenario, we cut the heads of these bolts off up here and it'll come right out that way too. But hopefully we can get it loosened with those other studs, so those other things on there. Maybe with an impact or a big breaker bar, but we'll see. All right, so let's try it with a breaker bar or a big 1/2-inch bar. And all it did was strip it out, and I figured that's probably what was gonna happen. So either gonna figure out a way of cutting the heads off of this thing or cutting the heads off the bolts up there. I think the ones up top will probably be a better choice just because, well, fuel. I don't wanna take any chance of trying to throw sparks at that, so yep, that's what we're gonna do. Well, I decided to try cutting the top, and these are carriage bolts, which is, they got a square end on it, which is what holds it in place for you to tighten it at the bottom. But that is out now, so I got to put something underneath. I got to get the jack underneath there before I cut this one, and it should be able to come out at that point. Now that I know they're carriage bolts. All right, that should be good to go. Cool. Last one down. Both tanks are out. And we'll open up later and see if there's any salvaging them or not. You can tell, never would have happened from the bottom because these holes that go through the tank that actually hold it up in there, those bolt holes are actually completely filled with crap. So that never would have came out. So cutting it from the top was the only option, but it's done now. Let's go ahead and pull the sending unit and see what we got underneath. See how bad it really is. I'm consider that came out really easy. How bad could it be? Actually, there's no rust on that at all. Huh. We should test that to see if it works. I bet you it does. Let's take a look down inside the tank, see what we see. I don't think I'm going to show you all what it looks like down in here, but huh. Surprisingly, it's not horrible. I don't see any real rust. This might be salvageable. Now the other one, when I emptied it out, I had to, scrape out the opening to get it to drain. But this one here does not look bad at all. Question is, how can we clean it? I mean, the outside we can just wire wheel it and spray it down, but the inside doesn't look too bad. Dirty, but not rusted. So we might be all right. Now let's check the other one, because that one inside looks like we can reuse it, which would be cool if we just get these out, start digging. So, hey, never know. Might get all right, so this one I know had sludge in the bottom of it. Let's see what this sending unit looks like. Oh God. Yeah, this one. It is covered. This tank was full. Like I probably drained, I don't know, however much. That holds times 3.5. So I don't know how many gallons that is, but it is enough. So this one definitely might be a little harder to clean. But you never know, it could clean up. Interesting. But we'll check it out and see what we see. So a pretty crazy comparison from an empty tank to a pretty much full tank, and the difference in sending units. So that fuel was really gummed up. It was still flammable and it's still combustible, but I don't know. I think this tank, the first one, the passenger side one, I think it's salvageable. This one, I don't know. You see how looks like maybe this, is that buildup, or that's not even rusted. That's just dirt. Interesting. It might clean up. It may just clean up. We will have to see. All right, a little scraping and a little spraying. And look at that. It's almost as good as the one that was nice from the get-go. So we might be able to make this thing work. Nothing else, place that little rubber sock back there and, might not get a fuel reading, but we might be able to get that to work too just by cleaning it up some more. But yeah, look at the difference. And this is what it looked like before I cleaned it up. It's a big difference. Well, there may be hope for the sending unit. I don't know about for the tank. We'll figure that out later, but yeah, it's pretty nasty down there, but maybe a chain and some rattling and rocking and rolling might get it to clean up a little bit. But we'll see. I know that one will definitely clean up. So that's one we don't have to worry about. That one we can make it work. This one, just gonna take a little bit more effort, but be pretty cool to have both tanks and be able to get rid of the one behind the seat. All right, so I wouldn't believe it unless I saw it with my own eyes. So this is the crappy, the one that came out of the really disgusting tank. But check this out. Throw a measurement, show, oh, wait a minute. Don't tell me it's not going to work this time. There it goes. So let me zoom you in so you can see the numbers. If I move the float, it gets a reading, so it's 0 to 90. See, look at that. It's working. It's actually reading more accurate than the one that was clean. So the rheostat and the sending unit is still good. See, up to 100 ohms, down to almost 0. Typical GM sending unit. But yeah, even the crusty one's working. Pretty crazy that thing still works. All right, well, I got all the 2-tank fuel system off. And it was kind of interesting the way they had it routed. So it's got the it's got the stock style tank in it right now. Line that goes down the middle. And typically that would just go straight to a line on the frame, go up to the fuel pump. But not in this case. This went down, looped over on that right there, that loop right there, went all the way over into the valve, the switching valve for the tanks, and then back around and out to the line on the fuel, on the frame rail, then out to the fuel pump. So instead of just going straight down with a, 10 inches of hose, it routed all the way around through that valve and then back around. So it's kind of interesting. Well, now it's just a straight shot from the tank down to the line on the frame rail. So now we got a direct connection from the tank to the fuel pump. So that's all normal now. I'm not sure why they had it like that. I'm not even sure the kid even knew it was like that. I'm not sure how long he had the truck, how he got to, what kind of condition it was when he got it. But yeah, just found that it would have been a lot easier just to bypass everything and put a straight hose in there, but I don't know what they were doing running it through that valve. So that valve is frozen. But anyways, just found that, and now we got a nice clean fuel system up to the front. So I did say I was going to kind of be all over the place with this thing on this video, but one of the things I discovered, so you look right here, this is a switch for the tanks. Well, for the reading for the gauge for the tanks, because it was a manual gauge otherwise, or a manual valve. You see how it's left, main, and right. So all three of them will run into that valve. And I'll show you how it has 3 ports. So you got 3 hoses and an outlet. So all 3 tanks ran through that valve, and you could choose from one of the 3 tanks. And this just switched over your gas gauge, basically, is what that one does. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And to jump around a little bit, I got some starter bolts with the knurls on it, so I can actually, and that's something else. Come on, Dorman. Make a kit that has just the 2 medium-sized ones, because there's starters that only take the medium-sized ones. So I had to buy 2 kits, 20 bucks for those bolts. I've already got multiples of the long ones and the short ones already. But anyways, so one other thing I need to do is I want to fix this, see if I can fix this. I bought a little plastic welding kit. I wouldn't care too much if it wasn't one of the bolt holes, but I want to kind of keep the original, so if I can like plastic weld it from the back side, and kind of, it'll be fine having a crack as long as it's held up on the back. But we'll figure that out when it comes time for it. So I'll probably put those in. Oh yeah, like I said, I'm jumping around a bit. So I'm going to try something. And I don't know if it's going to be as good as the Super Clean. But I got the Purple Power, the industrial Purple Power. Got 20 gallons of it. What I'm going to do is fill this tank up with it and let it just sit. And maybe it'll clean it up. The other tank won't take much to clean it up. So we should be able to hope and pour some of this in here. I got it set up in here so we can drain it, because it drains right here. So when it comes time to do that, we can do that. So I'm going to set it in there, let it just sit for a few days, maybe a week, and see how much crap it'll dissolve. So hopefully that'll work as good as the Super Clean. I couldn't find the Super Clean locally in big jugs, so I went with the Purple Power industrial strength stuff. It's supposed to be a good degreaser too. So hopefully it'll be able to clean that gunk out of there. It seems more like dirt than rust. So if it's dirt over rust and just sludge, it may clean it up. So that's what we're gonna try to do. Because I really want to run all 3 tanks again, or at least the 2 outside ones. I wouldn't mind getting rid of the in-cab one, mainly because I'm 6'5". So that'll give me extra room for seating or speakers or something. This truck's pretty big inside, so I don't think I'll have much of a problem depending on what seats I put in it. If I got a regular bucket seat or a bench seat, then it shouldn't be a problem at all. All right, so I think I've talked enough. Let's get some Purple Power poured down inside here and go from there. All right, so I got 5 gallons in there right now and about half a gallon on the floor. Yeah, that wasn't very smooth the way I poured it, but so yeah, that's one 5-gallon jug in there. I have no idea what the actual capacity of these tanks are, so we'll find out as we go. That's one down. All right, so we're at 15 gallons now, and there's still a little bit left in there, so maybe it's 16, 17 gallon. I don't know. Let this sit for a little while. I got a whole nother jug of it. I didn't spill quite as much on the other 2 jugs, but there's still a lot that's spilled there. That's okay, it'll eventually dry. And so yeah, you can see right there's the level. And just gonna let that soak for a while and see what happens. Okay, so now on the wire harness. It's a pretty complete kit. So a lot that needs to be, like, all the ends that go to the under the side of the hood and the lighting and all that stuff, that all has to be ends put on it, which same way American Auto Wire does it. It's not too bad. So I got the tools to do it, so we'll go over that when we do it. But I might start doing this. I do need a light switch, and I'm gonna go ahead and get a new dimmer switch too. And I'm just gonna decide, I gotta decide whether I want the 8-pin. This is a 7-pin connector. And I've gotta remember what the 8th pin is for, as far as the switches go. But if I need it, then I'll order it. But I'm gonna order it from Rock Auto because they're like half the price they are anywhere else. And I'm gonna go through this book real quick, just see what all's what. And so this is a kit I got, it's just Harbor Freight. It comes with mesh. I wish it would have had those little like pin style that you can melt into the plastic. But, you know, finding something locally like that probably ain't gonna happen around here. So I'm just gonna try to melt this together using this and see if we can salvage that corner so we can still use that screw hole. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece of this mesh and lay it on there and see if I can melt through it to get to the plastic underneath it. And then I'll add some of they actually have like welding rod. Well, it smells like it's hot enough. Of course, it's a pain in the butt to get down inside here. She seems like it's melting to it. I don't know how well I'm actually hiding the crack or not, but I can actually see the crack on this side, so I don't think I'm really closing it up, but might be good enough to hold it together. Oh, I think that's actually working. It's definitely holding together better. I don't know how I'm going to get down inside there further. I might have to do it on the outside too to get rid of the chrome. It's paintable. Because the problem is down inside there, you know, up here. So I might have to, I think I'm just going to do it on the outside. And I'll see if it's any way to clean it up after that. But We'll see how it does when it cools down. Well, if you take a look at it, it's cooled down now. And, well, it's not falling off broken now. Looks like crap, but we could probably clean it up with a little sanding. See what we can do. Because all the black is, I didn't add anything. It all came from the gauge pad, the gauge bezel. So that means that metal stuff, that metal mesh is melted down into it. I might do a little bit more right in this area to bring it further in, but it should hold up. Just gotta clean out the hole. It'll be all right. So I know it's not great, but it'll hold. And I kind of use the die grinder to kind of bring out the hole again. And that should hold a screw just fine. Now it kind of looks ugly. Maybe I'll throw some paint or something on it, but tried sanding it and it just gets to the metal mesh and starts tearing it up. So probably not gonna do that. Just kind of leave it. As long as it stays and doesn't break, then I can use the original gauge pod. All right, so this video we did all kinds of weird stuff. So we fixed the gauge bezel just so it doesn't fall apart. I got registration. I kind of broke into the wire harness a little bit. I haven't actually ran it in there yet because I had to order a light switch and a couple other things. Didn't do anything in the engine bay. We already got that running. Pulled the tanks out, got them soaking right now. Hopefully we can get those cleaned up and useful again. I think the passenger side one will actually clean up pretty easily because it wasn't all gummed up and full of crud. So yeah, we're just kind of all over the place here. Oh, we did door switches or door locks. So we put the door locks on and the ignition switches in. So we did a little bit of everything on this video, but I think we're gonna end it here because it's getting kind of long. Gotta put door panels back on, gotta repair door panels. So there's a lot to do on this truck. And I hope you all stick around and go for the ride with me on it, because hopefully by the end of I'd say by the end of the month, we'll say month, we should have a running driving truck. So I'm just gonna try to put out a video a week basically on the progress of my new GMC. Love this truck. I'll finish up this video of my my ADHD going crazy, going all over the place with this truck this time. There's so much to do and so much I want to work on. So, but if happy y'all made it this far. If you made it this far, I appreciate y'all watching. So if you like this video, go leave a like down there, leave me a comment, let me know what I can do better, and give me some ideas. What do you think I should do with this truck? What are some ways to go with it? I've got some ideas. I'd like to hear what yours are. And maybe a name for it. I'm not sure. My buddy Bryant over at Current Auto Performance, he called it the duck truck because I got that pet duck. So we'll see about that. But anyways, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all being here. So until next time, I will see y'all later.